What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggle's TV Daily Rewind. Is where we go back a week, give you the past 7 days of tech news videos in one single video. And this week had, I would say, let's say 3 wrong turns for the future of Samsung Galaxy phones, from the S24, Z Fold 4, 5, and 6. We have a new diet for the Galaxy Z Fold 5 and a new foldable tablet coming from Samsung, and much more, guys, in this week's tech news. Enjoy this week, and we'll see you in the next one. Our first story of the day has to do with the Galaxy Z Flip 5. It was maybe last week or the week before where we talked about the Galaxy Z Flip 5 having a different design on the back of the phone when you close it, that outside display. And it looks like it's been basically 100% confirmed. Ice Universe put out a tweet last night saying it is consistent with my data, 3.4-inch outside display, close to the ratio of 1:1, but I never expected such a design. And you can look at it, and it has that folder outside looking display, which is very interesting. It's gonna have I think it's 2 cameras sitting right above it. But I don't know, there's something that's, the more I see it, the more I become kind of attracted to it. It's definitely eye-catching. It's not that perfect square, which might annoy some people, but I think overall, when you see something like this, I said it in the last video about when I spoke about that, there's some fun things you're gonna be able to do with that in terms of wallpapers and using it in general, like just to make it more fun, because it has that somewhat awkward design. But it's definitely growing on me. I'm excited to see it in person and try it out and see what you can do with that much larger outside display on the Z Flip 5 when it comes out in August of 2023. Next up is all about the Galaxy Z Fold 5. This is the Z Fold 4, and the Z Fold 5 is about to go on a diet of sorts. It's gonna get lighter and skinnier overall. We've kind of spoken about this, but this is more fuel on that fire. This is coming out of South Korea ET News, and they have Galaxy Z Fold's next film, or next phone, whatever, because this is translated from Korean, is going to be on a diet. It's going to have reduced weight and thickness overall. And when we dive into one of these paragraphs, it said it's been confirmed that Samsung is developing the Z Fold 5, which is scheduled to be released in the second half of this year with a weight of 250 grams. It is 13 grams smaller than the Z Fold 4, which is 263 grams. And it is expected to be the lightest product among the Z Fold series released so far. The thickness when the main body is folded is 13.4 millimeters, which is thinner than the previous work of 14.2 millimeters, which these are really good selling points for the average person. One of the things I think people are gonna, or that they notice, is that when you pick this up, it's kind of chunky. And if you have a really light phone, it might seem kind of heavy. The things that those complaints, I'm personally used to them. I think a lot of other people are probably too that have this phone. But there's something to say when you can reduce the weight and make it thinner, that it's going to feel most likely better in your hand, and it's going to create a better overall experience. Now, the question that remains off of that is, since the Z Fold 5 doesn't seem like an absolute massive hardware upgrade, first story of the day is about the Galaxy Watch 6 and an improvement coming to this that I think is going to make a lot of people happy. At least it would make me happy. And that is, he's saying 100% confirmed, exclusive, the Samsung Galaxy Watch 6, the normal one, the classic, has increased the screen size of the dial to 1.47 inches. It previously used to be 1.2 inches on the Watch 5. And the resolution has also been correspondingly improved, which means that the screen proportion has finally been improved. So if you've been wanting a higher resolution, bigger display on your normal regular Galaxy Watch, especially the Watch 6, it is coming, guys. So this is looking like a good update, and maybe a reason to upgrade. If you didn't like the size of the Watch 5, you'll get a bigger one on the regular Watch 6. I just wanted to let you guys know that if you have the Galaxy Flip 4, Z Fold 4, I think there's another phone thrown in there, the April update is out. I actually got it. It was like 400 megs, so go there and download it. It didn't really say what it added. It said like bug fixes and security update and stuff like that. I checked my S23 Ultra, which I have right here. Did not get an update just yet. But yeah, check your other phones. If you have a Fold like me or a Flip, check, you should have an update. Next 2 stories are about the Galaxy Tab S9 series of tablets. This is looking like, at least from what people are saying, a nice upgrade thus far, really good upgrade. So here's the first tweet. This one comes from Ice Universe saying that the Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra is a beast. The specs are pretty strong. It says the display will have 120% DCI P3 display, so it should be a very color accurate, beautiful looking display overall, OLED. We don't know specifics in terms of what he's talking about in specs for this specific tablet. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 will be the processor inside, so you know it's going to be very, very powerful. But beyond that, we also heard and have seen some renders of the S9 Plus tablet. First, let's talk about the specs. It'll have a 12.4 inch, again, this is the Plus version, the middle version, 12.4 inch display, USB-C charging, 4 speakers. It'll have a dual rear camera setup, single selfie camera, magnetic area on the back for the S Pen, and this is going to be what it looks like, which if I just showed it to you, you probably wouldn't even know the difference versus something like a regular S8 Plus or anything like that. But it looks like it's going to look the same, but just bigger, better internal specs. The next story is a downer. And it's not a downer in America because we're still going to get the Snapdragon version of the processor. It's a downer almost every part of the world. As you've known, Samsung has pushed out the Snapdragon processor almost on all their flagship phones, almost all across the world at this point. It looks like that is going to change when the S24 series comes out. This information has been going around the last day or two. You can see from the headline, S24 aims to use Exynos 2400 processor per Korean media. And Ice Universe even puts out a tweet saying, what would you think if the S24 series brought back Exynos to Europe, India, South Korea, and other countries? Now, I still don't expect America to get the Exynos version. I still expect us to get the Snapdragon version like always, but in a lot of the other world, a lot of the other places they sell big time phones, like he mentioned in that tweet, it looks like Exynos 2400, at least from the rumors right now, is going to be returning to the S24 series. That means the 24, 24 Plus, and 24 Ultra. This is don't get me wrong, that processor will be more powerful than what they've released in the past with their Exynos processors, but it probably won't be on the same league as a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. This is really bad news for the series and all. You got to expect they're doing this probably to save money and give you a somewhat similar experience to what you had in the past. But I would guess, if I had to put my money on it, my guess is that the performance on this will probably be something closer to what we got with maybe the 22 Ultra or 23 Ultra, and it won't compare anywhere near the 24 Ultra. In America, when we get the Snapdragon, the Exynos version will probably be way lower and not get as good battery life. This is not good. It's another bad thing coming. First story of the day is actually about the PlayStation. PlayStation is coming out, it looks like, per the rumors, a new mobile gaming system. Before I jump into that, PlayStation 5 Pro, which would be the more powerful PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro is due to come out at the end or the holiday season of 2024. So really another year and a half away. But what about that mobile gaming system? So this is the information that's coming out thus far. It's coming from Insider Gaming, and they're reporting that the PlayStation handheld, codename Q-Lite, I don't like that name, makes it sound cheap, is in development. It uses remote play with the PlayStation 5 and has adaptive streaming up to 1080p 60 frames per second, but requires internet connectivity. The Q-Lite looks like a PlayStation 5 controller with an 8-inch LCD touchscreen in the center. It also has adaptive triggers for haptic feedback, volume buttons, speakers, an audio input jack, and more. It's in the QA phase and scheduled to release before the PlayStation 5 Pro. The announcement comes as Sony plans to announce its second phase of the PS5, including hardware offerings such as the detachable disc drive for the PlayStation 5, Project Nomad, which is going to be their new wireless earphones, Project Voyager, which is going to be the new wireless headset, and the Q-Lite handheld. Now, what is this going to mean? It means you have to own a PlayStation 5 in order to play the Q-Lite. So you have to purchase both of them. Also, the games, it doesn't sound like anyway, are going to live directly on your Q-Lite. It sounds like you're only going to be streaming these games, so you're going to need very fast, very reliable internet service. This is going to be, it's probably going to be laggy, let's be honest. wireless connection that I've ever tried with gaming has always kind of lagged up a bit, or hasn't been perfect all the time, like as if it's just playing on the gaming thing. I wish this was, you could play the game right on the console without needing internet connectivity or without streaming. Maybe you'll be able to download the game directly to it. I know it doesn't sound like it though, but still, if you've been waiting for handheld gaming on PlayStation 5, it looks like it's coming, and it looks like it's probably, based off this information, going to come this year, if not early 2024. We talked about the Galaxy S9 Ultra tablet having magnificent beastie specs. Well, it looks like we're learning what those specs are. Here we go, guys. It is coming from the Ice Universe, and there you can see the dimensions right there. Really, really thin, 5.5 millimeters thin, same as the S8 Ultra. It's gonna have a 14.6 inch display with a 2960 by 1848 display. It's gonna have 11,200 milliamp battery, 45 watts fast charging, 737 grams in weight. It'll be IP68, so it's now dust and water resistant. It's gonna have an 8 Gen 2 processor and 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM. Now, just looking at these, they are B specs, but they're also quite similar to what you get with the S8 Ultra. There's not a lot of huge differences I'm seeing right there in terms of what would make me want to upgrade. I probably still will upgrade, but like for the regular person that's really happy with the performance in gaming and just overall usage of the tablet, you're probably not gonna wanna upgrade. Again, you probably see much better battery life because of that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. I don't remember the Tab S8 Ultra having IP68. I could be wrong, I didn't verify before, but that could be another reason you might wanna upgrade. Otherwise, it's not that huge an upgrade, it seems like overall, but still, they are monster specs, especially on the Android side. And our last story of the day has to do with the colors for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Fold 5. Let's just dive right in. Here we go, guys. This comes from Ross Young. He's saying that the Flip 5 colors will be beige, gray, light green, that's weird, and light pink. I'm going light pink, guys, when and if I buy the Flip 5. Fold 5 will come in beige, black, and light blue. I'll either go beige or maybe light blue, depending upon what that looks like. I'm sure they will have some good flashy names when launching, along with some bespoke and lower volume colors. But there you go. The colors, again, aren't that super exciting for either phone, really. I think the Flip 5 definitely has more variety, and the Fold doesn't as much. But I don't know, light blue, I don't know. Sometimes I see light blue and it gets me a little, you know, colors make you feel something, like that color, I don't know, something's not making me super excited about it, but it's different than anything they've had before on that phone. The story has to do with something we've been talking a little bit about lately, and that is the Galaxy Watch 6 and some of the improvements, at least in display, that are happening to it. We have a little bit more information per this tweet from Ice Universe comparing it to the Galaxy Watch 5. So you can see the Watch 6, 44 millimeter and 40 millimeter, 1.47 inches and 1.31 inches respectively. And you see the resolutions 480 by 480 and 432 by 432 versus the Watch 5. So you get a little bit, you get 0.07 inches larger display on the 44 millimeter, and you get 1.1 inches, not 1.1, 0.11 inches bigger versus the 5, and the resolutions are upped a little bit as well, so the screens should look sharper and larger, which is a good thing to have. Next up is for all the Google Pixel fans. There is a new feature coming to that phone that is not on, I don't think it's on any other Android phone. It is already on Apple phones, but it's now looking to come in its Pixel-esque way as well. So here's the story coming from 91 Mobile saying Google's working on a Find My Device feature even when the phone is turned off. The feature will be called Pixel Power Off Finder, at least on Google phones. Google is working on Find My Device feature that will be able to find the device when it's powered off, similar to Apple. The company is tipped to be working on building a huge network of all Android devices, including optional support and or ultra wideband locator tags like Apple AirTags. The feature requires hardware support to keep the Bluetooth chip enabled at all times. So this is pretty cool. I don't know if it's going to be on the old Pixel phones, but at least on the new Pixel phones, it sounds like it's going to happen. So that, again, if your phone is off, you'll still be able to find it. It'll basically run Bluetooth. I guess like a probably very low power piece of Bluetooth on there so that you can capture and find your phones. Next up, as you can see from the headline, Samsung reveals new camera and gallery features that are coming soon. And to go in depth about these, they're going to see they have Astro Hyperlapse. Samsung confirmed that Astro Hyperlapse will be released on the S22, Z Fold 4, and Z Flip 4, and that will be able to be used at night. 300x speed function that allows you to photograph the stars in the sky, and star trails can be photographed by selecting star trails. Supported models were selected in consideration of AP performance and system structure for real-time image fusion processing and sensor characteristics for long time shooting. Image Clipper will be updated to a new version, bringing the Image Clipper to various devices such as the S22, 21, Note 20, S20, Fold 4, 3, 2, 1, Fold 4, Flip 3, Flip, all the flips basically. And then Image Clipper is known as the pick feature, is a feature and automatically cuts out the object in a photo by long pressing it. So that feature was exclusive to the S23 Ultra, but now it's coming to all the older phones as well. Also, Front Camera Pro Video Photo. Samsung will release a Front Camera Pro Photo and Video support for the S22 series and Z Fold 4. While maintaining the fast shooting experience of Pro Mode, we select a model that can support 12-bit RAW and user-selected resolution ratio, angle of view, and horizontal reversal applied. So, you know, some of the features that might have been exclusive to the S23 series, at least on the camera side and the gallery side, are now going to be coming soon to some of those other phones that I mentioned. Last story of the day has to do with the cameras on the Z Fold 5 and Flip 5. We haven't talked about the cameras too much on the Flip 5, but you know, they are upgrading the outside display, but it's not looking like they're upgrading the cameras, or at least from this post. Yogesh Brar is saying that the Z Fold 5 will have the 50 megapixel, 12 megapixel, 10 megapixel setup, and the Flip 5 will have the 12 megapixel camera setup. Improved hinge, new image sensors, larger outer displays, Qualcomm Snapdragon for Galaxy. So basically they're going to have new image sensors, but it's gonna be the same megapixels and stuff. So expect not drastically different, better photos. I would probably expect something, maybe just a little bit better photo at that. Nothing hugely changes my guess on there. First story of the day, and really only story of the day, has to do with the massive performance jump in the Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra. It is the most powerful Samsung Galaxy mobile device that will be released this year. Well, yeah, probably this year, most likely. And it's a really, really big jump over its predecessor and a little bit of a jump over the S23 Ultra. Let's take a look. So some benchmarks were leaked out by Revengness. And first of all, we'll look at the plain Galaxy Tab S9. This isn't the Ultra. And these scores are not better, or they're about equal, I guess, to the Galaxy S23 Ultra. You're getting basically the highest score was 1929 on the single core and 4735 on the multi-core score, which are really good. This is much powerful. That's even more powerful than the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. Next, we look at the score for the Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, which has a score of 2054 versus 5426. Huge jumps. And this is the Galaxy S23 Ultra score. Someone posted theirs, showing that the 1915 and 4874 are pretty small, not a huge difference, but there is a pretty good difference between the Tab S9 Ultra, which also runs a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, as the same as the S23 Ultra. And then also, for comparison's sakes, here's the score for the S8 Ultra, 1637 and 3437 on that multi-core score. And then you look at the Tab S9 Ultra with a way bigger score of 2006 and 5326. So it's some massive gains in performance on the new tablets. Now, what is that going to be good for? Well, it's going to be better for, or good for, definitely gaming. We should get better graphics and better frame rates overall. If you're a gamer, you love that big display on the S9 Ultra, the 14.6-inch display, then you're definitely going to want to get that one because it's going to offer you the most performance when you're gaming. But you can also factor that into, when you're video editing, if you do any video editing or photo editing on there. I'm talking about real hardcore photo editing and video editing, then it's going to take performance on there. But for the day-to-day user, someone that's just using it as a productivity device, you could probably just be fine if you still have the Tab S8 Ultra. Don't get locked up into this S9 Ultra world where it's like, oh my God, it's so much more powerful, it's crazy. It's really going to be for those factors that I just mentioned right there. I know my S8 Ultra still runs really, really smooth and really fast. I wouldn't, if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't upgrade. But for me, having the channel, and maybe I'm gonna want to use this as a second or a third tier Fortnite gaming device, then yeah, I do want that extra frame and the extra resolution that'll be potentially pushing to that new, more powerful device. Let me know. First story of the day has to do with a foldable phone, the Vivo X Fold. We've spoken about the specs about this phone, but we're getting some official imagery. And this phone looks like it'll probably only come out in China, but check out these specs again in their official look at it. So you're looking at the main display on the left. We'll have an 8.03 inch display, 120 hertz, 2160 by 1960 resolution, 1800 nits of brightness. Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 5 probably won't even get that bright. The smaller outside display, which is bigger than Samsung's, much bigger actually. It's almost like a normal phone on here. 6.53 inches, 120 hertz, 2520 by 1080, so a 1080p plus resolution display. 1600 nits of brightness. Again, I don't believe Samsung's outside display will probably get that bright as well. So Vivo X Fold 2 should be out and announced very, very soon officially. Next up is about the Galaxy Z Fold 4, 5, and 6. Now, this is rumors. This could totally change. So I want to bring this up though, because it brings up potentially the future of the cameras of the Galaxy Z Fold. Well, 4 is already up, but the 5 and the 6. And I want to warn you guys that this could be wrong, but if it's right, how do I put this? It's not very exciting to do with the cameras. Let's check this out. So the information's coming from Revengas, who's saying that the Fold 4, 5, and 6, still no camera advancements. When are you going to put a periscope camera in the Fold? Samsung, and he's saying that the Z Fold 5 and Z6 cameras will have the GN3 50 megapixel sensor. And he's saying we'll see this horrible GN3 next year as well. And one of the things that it's not a huge pain point, but it's not obviously one of the bright things about the foldable phone, is that the cameras are pretty average. They're nothing mind-blowing. Don't get me wrong, you can capture a nice photo, you can capture a great photo, but it's not consistent. You deal with something like, you use an iPhone, you get some really great photos, especially the newer Pro Max ones. You take a Pixel and you get some great, amazing photos. Even the S23 Ultra, it came close in testing, but I can just tell, like, I would 100% trust more and be more reliable than the Galaxy Z Fold 4, and obviously 5 and 6 as well. So if you're holding out for the 5 or the 6, and we've already talked about the 5 a lot in terms of specs, but if you're holding out for the 5 or the 6 because you want a much better camera, don't hold your breath. It's not that 50 megapixel camera can't take great photos. The Pixel Pixel 7 Pro, I think that one has like a 50 or 64 megapixel camera lens. So it's not even the megapixels, it's the algorithm and the software. So hopefully, which I don't have high hopes for this, hopefully Samsung can just revamp their algorithm software for their photos and really blow us away with the lenses that they're using and take these amazing photos all the time or most of the time. Because right now it's another reason to potentially, you have the Samsung phone. If you're looking for a company that's going to push the envelope or give you something feeling different and more improved, maybe it's the Pixel Fold, maybe it's the OnePlus Fold, maybe it's one of the Chinese manufacturers from like Oppo or Huawei or Vivo. Maybe it's one of them. But today's story is absolutely amazing. I'm kind of excited about this, depending upon what they do with it. And we've been talking about this, we've heard about this, and it goes in line with the Z line, the Samsung Galaxy Z line. But this time, it's gonna be a Galaxy Z tablet, meaning we're getting a foldable tablet. So here's the tweet. This is coming from our man, Revengas, saying exclusive Z Tab foldable tablet to launch alongside the Galaxy Tab S9 this year. Now that launch of the S9 usually happens in August of 2023, so expect it as early as August 2023. Someone did ask the question, are you 100% sure? he said, yes, there's a really high probability that this will come out this year. If it doesn't come out this year, it's going to be one of a bunch of foldables coming out next year. Wouldn't that be less attention grabbing? So we need to talk about this because this is freaking crazy. First of all, I don't know if it's going to be the tri-fold tablet or just a plain folding tablet. My guess, I could be wrong, is it's going to just be a regular folding tablet, fold in half. How big is it going to be? What's the specs? We don't know yet. That information's not out yet. If I had to guess, I would guess it's going to be something not ultimately really, really huge. I would guess it's probably going to be 9 inches or smaller. I think it's going to be like kind of like a mini tablet that closes in half. They'll see how that does. The next part of that is, what are the foldables next year that are going to be coming out? Well, you can expect like a tri-folding tablet. They didn't come up with their folding laptops, I don't think yet, which are basically out of display. I could be wrong on that for Samsung. What else could they be doing? Is they're coming out with different folding phones next year, different from what we have now. They're coming out with more folding tablets that we haven't even thought of. I know I'm personally right now going through an issue with my Galaxy Z Fold phone where I'm having issues with it. I've had issues on every single one, but I still love that line. I do use the S23 Ultra, and it's a great phone. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But when I'm watching videos and stuff, it's just not as immersive, and I miss that. Anything I'm doing on this phone is just not as immersive, so I really miss the foldable line. So I'm excited about this stuff. We'll see what happens with it, what they do with it. But what are your thoughts? What do you predict they're going to release, spec-wise, screen size, all of that? Let me know in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's jump into our Q&A. All right, so Jackson Berger says, I have both the Flip and the Fold with the Galaxy Watch 4. Is there a way to seemingly use the watch between the two without resetting it? Yes, get 2 watches, easy. There you go. Question answered. No, not that I know of. I don't think you can, from what I know, you cannot use one watch with 2 different phones at the same time, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to get a second watch. You could honestly pick up probably a cheap Galaxy Watch 4. You could probably pick it up for like 100, 150 bucks on eBay. I would not be surprised whatsoever. Thanks so much for your questions. If you have a question, leave it in the comments down below with the hashtag question. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road.